Hi, my name is Cameron, and the main purpose of this video is if you've left your faith, especially if you were a born and raised or were a Jehovah's Witness, then this video is for you. You spent a big portion of your life being dedicated to a faith, many years underlining books and magazines, and something happened. And now you're at the point where you're thinking about or have left your faith. Right off the bat, I want to say I'm not an apostate. I am an ex-Jehovah's Witness. I was dissfellowshipped. And before you stop the video there, the reason why I was is because I fell in love with a worldly girl. Quite simply, that was what it was. And then when you leave, you may feel a little naive to the world, especially if you were super dedicated like I was, or you may even feel like you have to rebuild your entire life, like I did. So I know what it's like to lose everything and then have to rebuild it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So this video is made for you guys. You could be specifically one of Jehovah's Witnesses or an ex-JW. This is not an apostate video. I'm not going to try to talk crap about the organization, but I'm going to say what happened, the facts that happened to me, because a lot of ex-JWs that leave the faith, they have a lot of things in common, like self-deprecating personalities, low self-esteem, sometimes a negative or a sad or bitter outlook on life, or they're upset and angry about what happened to them in the faith. And I'm here to try to help people move past that so they can be happy and grow and continue to be a good person even without faith. Now, this is not meant to discourage you to leave your faith. This video is meant to just, like, if you've left your faith, this is how to recover. There's a lot of things that I would like to talk about, and I got a timer on myself, and I've got some notes here that I'm going to pull from. I'm actually pretty nervous. I'm very comfortable on camera, but I'm nervous about this because it's a very personal subject, because I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And for me, for the first 3 years out in the world, I wanted to go back. I was stuck in a relationship that was so terrible that it made me want to go back to being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And then being single after that and realizing the world's not so bad. It's not as demonized as people make it out to be. And that you can grow and continue to be an awesome person and meet other amazing people. That's what I'm here to do. So the problem is that, I'll take these off. For me at least, and maybe many of you, you grew up super dedicated in the faith. And for me, I was a regular auxiliary pioneer, or going to become a regular pioneer. I was auxiliary, doing about 20 to 40 hours of service on my own. I was raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And we'll go into my personal story in a separate video. I spent many years, a good majority of my life, probably a third of it, no, like 75, 85% of it in the faith. And I didn't realize how much it really affected me until I got away from the truth, away from the faith. And one of the major things to begin your journey is to start focusing on the positive, because growing up in that faith in a very controlled environment, in a negative light, yeah, it was very controlling. In a positive light, kept me out of a hell of a lot of trouble. I made some beautiful friendships and relationships with people, and I learned what real friendship was, and public speaking. I was one of those guys that knocked on the doors all the time, so I had no fear of talking to new people and making friends. I did have a hell of a hard time adjusting to the normal world afterwards, and we'll get into that into future videos. But one of the things that has helped me since leaving the faith is definitely learning to be happy, to generate happiness. And this actually comes from one of the motivational speakers that I follow and have worked for, Brendan Burchard. So if you know, happiness doesn't come from your surroundings or your family or your faith. When you're in the faith as JWs, you're taught to rely on God, to put your faith in God and lean on Him with effort, as long as you're doing the effort. But when you're out of the faith, what do? You have to generate that happiness from inside. So one of the ways to do that is to move forward in a positive light, because a lot of ex-JWs that leave very bitter and angry and upset, and I totally get it, because I went through that phase too. So one of those things is to be happy with you as who you are as a person right now. Be happy with who you are as a person right this very moment. Maybe, that's totally accepting the way you look, where you are financially, where you are emotionally. You may be depressed, you may be a whole bunch of different things. But that's accepting who you are right now and just saying, I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm gonna make changes for the better. I'm gonna keep growing in a positive way in the future. But accepting who you are right now is huge. Because if you can't accept who you are and know that you're gonna make positive changes in the future, you're gonna continue to be unhappy. It's just like if someone's unhappy and they're extremely poor, and then they come across a huge sum of money or make a large fortune or business, they're still gonna be upset because they never got out of that state, that mental state of being happy with who they are at that point in time. So it's the same with leaving your faith. You gotta be happy with who you are, because if you become a rich person or you become a successful person or a happy person or a generous person, or maybe you just don't wanna lose that from your faith, you'll be happy moving forward. So that's huge. You have to generate happiness from within. That's the big thing for me. In life now, because of part of that is like I wake up almost every single day and I can look myself in the mirror and I can say to myself, today is going to be a good day. And I'm going to make the best out of it. I feel more positive about myself than ever really before. So I encourage you to do that. Even if you have to talk to yourself in the mirror. It might be a little crazy, but start saying positive things and thinking positive things. It'll generate happiness. Couple of other things. I'm going to end this video sooner and then go into some deeper topics later on. Self-depreciation or self-deprecation, huge in the JW community because we're taught to be extremely humble, which shines, honestly, when a lot of people who are not in that faith, they see you, they see like, oh my gosh, this person's humble. But it got to the point for me where I was self-deprecating myself so much in a negative way. I put myself down when I introduced myself to people. I didn't even realize this until friends pointed it out to me. And then I started asking around, and people were like, yeah, I don't know why you do that. That's really unhealthy. And I noticed by talking to other ex-JWs after I got out of the faith, same thing. So stop self-depreciating yourself as much. Start saying more confident things and be confident about who you are as a person, because you're a beautiful person too. And the JWs, they're beautiful people too in their own way, and they're doing what they believe is right in their hearts. I had to cut the video for a second. There was a very loud noise. Where was I? Do you remember that hobby and that life goal that you had when you were a JW and you had to suppress it because we're taught that Jesus' example, he gave up everything for humans, and in order to teach that good word to make other people's lives happier and healthier and know the truth and have a hope for the future, go dig that hobby up. Go start researching it, looking it up, and if you aren't already, just start doing it. Try not to think about it too much. Just start doing it. Make a lot of mistakes along the way. That's okay. Just get out there and start doing it. One of those hobbies for me is photography, filmmaking, working out. And I started picking all of that back up again recently because I was stuck in a massive state of depression and self-doubt and worry, because I wanted to go back to the truth for about 3.5 years while I was out. And this whole last year has been a massive amount of change for myself personally, and growth. I've grown up so much in the last year and become more positive and happy with who I am right now and who I'm going to be in the future, as well as helping people along the way. That's my main goal. Another small tip, talk to people, talk to others. If you don't talk to other people about your pain, it will spill out into your life, either through depression or maybe into your next relationship, your next friendship. It's all going to come out at probably a time that you don't want it to come out. So if you talk about it with people that you respect and get you and love, or if you're like me, you had to kind of start over from scratch and find those people, which was a fun and excruciating process. Made so many friends from it though, so it was worth it. Go out there and find people and talk. You hold it in, it's going to burst out at the wrong moment. That's just kind of how it goes. And then you realize life isn't so bad. It's not as demonized as it was made out to be. It really isn't. It's not as demonized as growing up in that faith made a lot of things out to be. As long as you're safe and smart. I didn't go crazy wild after I left. I didn't go off and go on a drug binge, and I didn't become a whole bunch of crazy things and do a lot of crazy stuff. I didn't do that, I wanted to experience life and world and other cultures and become a better person and find people that were similar to me and travel and do all that. And all that's happening because I'm making it happen instead of staying in my bedroom cooped up, which I did go through that phase too. You got to get that out of your system as soon as possible. Anyway, if anyone has any questions, leave a comment down below. If this video has helped you out in any way, please subscribe. Hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know that this is a positive thing to do for the YouTube community, for JWs out there, because there's so much negativity out there in the ex-JW world, especially in the video world, full of apostasy. I don't consider myself an apostate, but I'm focused on how to recover from leaving your faith. That could be, Christianity, JW, Mormonism, could be a whole slew of different things. And you're gonna face a lot of crazy things that are in the normal world considered not normal. And you may be all by yourself, and this video may help you. That's what I'm hoping, that I've been there. I've been through what you've gone through, or very similar. So this is a community, this is YouTube. I'm gonna try my best to stay in touch with the comments and answer as many of them as I can. I'm gonna keep making more videos. Please like, subscribe, and comment so I can know that this is working, and I will see you guys in the next video. God, it's a beautiful day.